Happy New Year, sunshine. Cheers. It's not actually New Year's yet, or it's not actually the New Year yet. We have like an hour and a half, I think. So I need to get this done and uploaded so I can make sure I have a video a day still. Um, this is like the 8th time I recorded. I haven't really liked the ones I did before, and I was into one, and then Stormy came home from work and poured some champagne. This is like my, I don't know how many glasses this is, but I'm having champagne and chips and queso. Yummy. Um, so, um, I don't know what I'm going to talk about tonight. What was I talking about before? I was talking about, I'm all kinds of a hot mess. I took a hot shower earlier because I was cold, and so that was lovely. I could have stayed in there for all night. You like my necklace? Stormy gave it to me, so I'd be all flashy. Except I think it's gonna give me an epileptic seizure. So, but I came over from DoorDash, and I worked out and ate dinner, and then tried to record this several times over. Couldn't, just nothing, it just didn't flow. So I took a hot shower. And I was in the middle of another recording, and Stormy got home. She's like, let's have some champagne. I'm like, okay. So I went up and had some champagne. And then I was like, I gotta get that video done. So I came down here, and that's what I'm doing now. But, yeah, I kind of struggled for the last half of the day. I have something in my tooth. It's probably chipped. It's bugging me. It's strange how when the landscape of your mouth changes just the tiniest bit, and you're just like, but I woke up this morning in a pretty good mood, and I did my meditation, and it was a very peaceful meditation. It was, just set the mood for the day, I felt like. And so, I continued with my routine, and got ready to do my interview, and I did my interview, and that turned out well. And she wanted me to send her my most recent resume, and so when I went to send it to her, I decided to proof it super quickly before I sent it, just to make sure that she was getting, the most best one. And so as I was proofing it, I noticed that it didn't have my most recent address or phone number, so I changed that. And I also like to include on my resume like snippets of past references from like past employers and coworkers. And so I have like a column where I have those snippets on my resume. And I noticed that I didn't have one from my last boss, and so I reached out to him to see if he would provide me with a reference. Haven't heard anything back from him last I checked, which was this evening. But it's a holiday weekend, and so he probably wasn't even in the office today. But it's kind of a strange thing, because normally I would, and he's always kind of like intimidated me a little bit. And so normally I would be fearful about reaching out to him to see if he would provide me any any past employer. I would be fearful of reaching out to them to see if they would provide me a reference. I mean, I would, contemplate and ultimately decide not to request it because I would be afraid of what he would think. I'd be afraid of what he'd say, and then I'd be afraid that he'd say no. And today I didn't even think of those things. I just sent him an email asking if he would provide me a reference. That's a huge step for me. That's huge. And so in that's something that, I pat myself on the back for, because, I am overcoming those silly fears, and there was a point in time after I did it where I was like, oh no, what if he's like, what's he gonna think? And then I got to this other place where I was just like, who cares? What's the worst he's gonna say? No. Or he may not respond. And if not, so be it. There's other people there that would be more than happy to provide me with a reference, that I could give to this, or I could put on my resume. And so ultimately it was just like, oh, well, if he does, he does, and I'm not gonna fret. And that's kind of like one of my mantras now, is like, I'm not gonna fret. I'm not gonna fret. So, I let her know that I was waiting for him to get back with me regarding the reference, and she said, that's cool, just send me it when you have it updated and we'll go from there. She said, we're probably not going to be able to do anything till mid next week anyways, with the holiday and the new year starting, and she's like, it's going to be crazy, so don't fret. She didn't say that, but essentially that's what she said. So I from there I went out and started doing DoorDash, and I was just in a really good place, and I find that lately I'm just smiling for no reason at all. I'm just smiling, and just trying to, I'm just full of cheer or something. And so I'm driving along and I'm just smiling. Yeah, I don't know, I'm smiling. There's no reason for it. I'm just smiling. And I feel like it's not necessarily happiness. I mean, I feel happy. I guess I don't satisfaction. I guess the word that I can't even think of the word. I want to say it's satisfaction, but it's not satisfaction. It's contentment, but not contentment. I want to say it's like contentment with, it's like a neutral contentment. I can't even, it's hard for me to put it into words, but it's like, it comes from this place. It comes from this place of, I don't know, like from here, and it's like just this comfort, like this radiating comfort that just like kind of like spreads out and just like encompasses me. And that's how I feel most of the time. But for some reason, I was like, today I was when I do my tarot readings over the last couple of weeks, when I've done tarot readings, a lot of the time it's urging me to process feelings and emotions that I normally wouldn't process. I would normally just bury them or sweep them under the carpet so that they would like fester and, like a pressure cooker, just like explode. And so it's something, I mean, like, so when I do the tarot readings, it's urging me to process those feelings. And lately over the past couple of days, I've been dealing with a lot of anger, towards Katie, and and I don't know how to process it. I don't, so when it's telling me you need to process this, I'm like, what do you mean? How do I process it? I don't know how to process it. I mean, do I go out to the middle of the forest and just shriek, rage at the trees, rage at the dying of the night? Dylan Thomas. I don't know. And so I'm like trying to figure out how to do it. And so, I ask, how am I supposed to process? How do you process anger without it, being directed at a person? How do you do that? And so, I've been doing it through like writing, and a lot of the things that I'm processing are, like the way she ended the relationship, and the fact that she will probably go to her grave believing that I was the reason for the demise of our relationship, and that she takes no responsibility in it whatsoever. And so I'm processing that. And then I'm processing these feelings that, she wouldn't make me, because I don't feel like people can make you do anything. That's completely your choice. But I mean, I would feel like I would have to question my gut feeling or my instincts or my intuition. And I'm pretty intuitive, and I pick up on like energies and stuff like that. And so when I would do that, and it would, cause her to be defensive, then she would have me question my intuition or my gut feeling. And so I'm angry about that, because it's something that I don't know, it's something that I value in myself, is my ability to pick up on those energies. And so, when somebody and I don't want to say but when somebody does something or suggests that, I'm too sensitive, or I am reading too much into something, or, when they're, I don't know, using my behaviors as a reason to question my gift, then I was angry. And so I've been processing that. And then today, so that was like the last couple days, but today it was more like, and I feel like it got closer and closer to the evening, and then the fact that I was going to be alone this evening started to like sink in. And so it started to, my mood really started to shift. And there was like this point where I was angry that, so back in June of 2017 we met, and our first date was not successful at all. And she basically ignored me the whole date. And from that point I just decided, she's not worth my time or my effort. And so I'm moving on. And I didn't move on though. And so then in January of the following year, she reached out to me. And then from there, we began a relationship. And so today, I was um, I was angry because she reached out to me in January, and all I could think all day was why? Why the fuck did you have to reach out to me? Why couldn't you just leave me alone? And then I'm thinking, why did I have to respond? Why didn't I just ignore it and block her? Why didn't I just end it there? And and so this is what I was thinking most of the afternoon. And and I'm driving home after doing DoorDash, and I'm thinking I have to go home and it's gonna be by myself, and oh yay, what am I gonna do? And I was like feeling sorry for myself, and I and yeah, I probably could have gone and hung out with the kids, but you know what? I wanted to come home and sulk. So I came home and I worked out, and while I was working out, it was kind of like this whole like full circle thing. And I'm thinking to myself, like the whole Neville Goddard thing, he talks about in the Bible, it says, nobody comes to me unless I call them. And so in June, when she, I don't know, basically behaved like, I don't know, when we had that failure of a date in June, and then kind of after that, she gave me this vaguely veiled brush off. I was like, screw you then. You know what? You're going to be sorry because you're missing out. You're missing out. And that's what I thought. And I thought, I'm going to show her. I'm going to show her how much she's missing out. And there was so much energy behind that emotion, that I was putting so much energy into that. I'm going to show you. You're going to be sorry. That I feel like, I planted a seed. I planted a seed in the fertile soil of my subconscious for her to come back to me. And so I called her to me. And even she said, like, I think it was like in September, she told me, she's like, I think you called me. And I think she's probably right. She is right. I called her to me from that energy that I wanted her to see what a mistake she made in brushing me off the way she did. And instead of, like when she did reach out to me, I could have easily been like, no. But, I did want her to see that, check out what you missed out on. But then, she was charming and she swept me off my feet and I fell in love. And from there, the rest is history. But also, I think that I want her to, there's a part of me that wants her to be accountable for her part in the failure of a relationship. And there's still a part of me that wants that, but then there's another part of me that knows that I planted that as well, that I needed her to leave. I needed her to leave me so that I could be where I am today, because I need to be where I am today. And it's just a strange thing, because like I said, I did this full circle thing where I started off really angry, and angry at her, and then angry at myself, and then not angry at all, because I realized that all of it was part of the process of me getting to this point where I am today. And where I am today is incredible. I mean, the changes that I have made in the last 3 months are significant. I I mean, I used to be the kind of person who, if I got super anxious about something, I would go and buy something. I would go shopping. And whether or not I could afford it or not, I would go out and I'd go shopping because it'd make me feel better for a minute. And I don't do that anymore. That's like one example. But like the other day, I was anxious about something. I can't even remember what it was that I was anxious about. It was so insignificant. But that small self was like, "Don't you want to go shopping? We should go shopping. We should go buy something." I'm like, "No, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. I'm just gonna like sink into that place where I know that peace is, and I'm gonna dwell there until I don't feel so anxious, and I know that I can overcome what I'm feeling anxious about." And I can put everything in perspective. And I think that, what I've noticed, that with love comes this great well of reasoning. I can't even explain it, but you're like, you sink into this place where you feel that peace, and you're able to really make heads and tails over the thing that you are feeling anxious about. And then also there was something that I was fretting about, and I don't know, and it was like this automatic like knowing that it was going to be okay. And I was like, that's crazy, that's never happened to me before. And so and maybe so in the processing of this anger, I feel like the whole full circle thing, I did process it, and I came to this point where I was like, there's no reason to be angry. There's no reason to be angry, because it had to happen. It all had to happen so that I could be where I am today. Because I feel like, had she not come along back then in January, I don't feel like I would be here where I am right now. And where I am right now, I mean, I have these understandings that I wouldn't, I don't feel like I would have had back then. And so, and again, it gives me an opportunity to be so grateful to her, and for the relationship, and for where I am now, because I know that, I don't, I don't believe, I could be wrong, never say never, but I don't think that Katie Gray is going to be a part of my future. She was a part of my past, but I don't believe that she will be, I don't think that she'll be a part of my future, and I'm okay with that. And I will continue to, now that I've processed the anger, now that I've processed the emotions that I've needed to process to get past that, I'm going to continue, sending her love and well wishes, because to do anything other than that would plant that nastiness in the fertile soil of my subconscious, and that's what I would reap. And so you reap what you sow. And so I want loveliness. I want good things for myself. And so to do that, I need to send love. And so that's what I'm going to do. I mean, and that's kind of like my I'm just gonna take everything that all these significant things that I've learned over the last 3 months. I'm gonna take them with me into 2021, and I guess that is really all I have to say. It wasn't that exciting of a video. I don't know if I'm gonna get to my um, tarot lesson tonight because I'm tired and I still have to ring in the new year and I'm tired. And I still have a half a glass of champagne to drink. So anyways, I am going to end this, and you guys have a blessed, happy new year. I hope that everything that you could ever hope for is yours this year, and that you are blessed beyond measure, and that you have prosperity and abundance and love and comfort and joy. And you guys have a great night, and don't forget to live abundantly.